Hi everyone. I hope you're staying as safe and healthy as possible during these trying times. I just found out that the rest of our spring quarter classes at the law school here will all be online, and the provost of the university made an announcement today that commencement and graduation are most likely not going to happen at all. I found myself feeling much sadder than expected when I heard this news. I guess graduation is one of those ceremonies that you almost take for granted. It doesn't seem like it would be a huge deal until it's taken away from you. Let me just preface this by saying that I know that I am ridiculously lucky to have somewhere to live, a partner who has an income still, a space to study, access to the internet, all of those things. I don't take them for granted at all. We are incredibly lucky and privileged to be sort of weathering even this difficult situation in the way that we're able to. That being said, I think it's normal to feel sad about things. I was surprised by how sad the news made me, and I guess it's because the past 3 years of law school have been the most challenging years of my life so far in both positive and negative ways. I never really planned to go to law school. As you might know from some of my other videos, I sort of applied on a whim and told myself that if I got into a really good law school, some place that was pretty much too good to pass up, I would do it. If not, I would go down another path, try to figure something else out for my life. Things just sort of ended up working out the way they have. And through this experience, I think I've learned a lot of valuable skills. And it's really literally reshaped the trajectory that my life is about to take. And so to end all of that on a super anticlimactic note is really sad to me. I thought this would be a good time to reflect on what I consider to be the best and worst parts of law school, since it's all about to end. We still have a full quarter left, but the Bay Area is in mandatory shelter in place right now. And since all classes are going to be online, I think it really won't feel like a normal quarter, to say the least. That's an understatement, right? So I'll start with my least favorite part of law school first, so that we can end on kind of a positive note, I guess. Throughout the experience, I had the not infrequent feeling that, what I was doing, what I was working on was really quite difficult. And I'm not afraid of working hard and doing difficult things, but it's hard to push yourself or to continue pushing yourself past your work limit when you feel that the reason you're doing it or the reward that you're doing it for is pretty arbitrary. There's a lot of deferred gratitude, deferred enjoyment built into law school. So, we're often told you work hard, push yourself, and then someday in the distant future, your reward will be something great. I found that, the delayed nature of that gratification creates a sort of psychological pressure or creates the normalization of a certain way of treating yourself that is not exactly kind. In my case, and I think in the case of many of my peers, we worked our butts off in order to get something such as a clerkship or, a job that I'm sure will be great in its own way, but is also itself just another source of that delayed gratification. It's just going to be more work. One of the things that I didn't exactly like about law school is that it induced that mentality in me. It kind of trained me to think of myself as someone whose job was to keep producing under certain constraints, do what people tell me to do work-wise, work as hard as possible, as diligently as possible, and not really question what I personally was getting out of it, just sort of continue to look down the road and trust that something would be there because other people said it was. Does that make sense? I think there are ways that you can harness that feeling or that mentality in good ways, in mentally healthy ways. I do feel like I have the capacity to be thorough and diligent and hardworking in a more sort of focused way than I did before coming to law school. But it's also a sort of mentality that I want to keep tabs on in myself, and I think that other people need to as well, because this kind of mentality is the root of many of the problems in the mental health of the legal profession. Burnout, substance abuse, depression, those are significant problems in our industry that need to be talked about early on. Not saying that I'm facing any of those, just that I recognize that law school as an institution does play a role in producing that mindset. Okay, so that's the number one downside, I think. Okay, moving on to something a little bit more positive. I have two favorite parts of law school. One of them was definitely my clinical experience. So as I've mentioned in some other videos, Stanford is on the quarter system, which means that for at least one quarter, possibly two, students are allowed to do a full-time clinic where they represent clients directly and do legal work on a smaller and closely supervised scale. And I was lucky enough to do something called the Community Law Clinic here, which provides legal services for primarily low-income clients in the East Palo Alto area in 3 different practice areas. So we defended clients against unlawful detainer actions, which are basically evictions. We represented clients in front of an administrative law judge trying to get them Social Security disability benefits, and we helped clients expunge some of their past convictions so that they could apply for housing, get jobs, basically achieve the things they wanted to achieve in life. I was lucky enough to be working under the close supervision and teaching of 3 amazing clinical faculty members with loads of experience, wonderful personalities, and very different approaches to the law, which I appreciated getting to see. And the model of the clinical experience is also wonderful. On the one hand, we were taking responsibility for our cases and really representing these clients. On the other hand, this was our opportunity to do that work in a setting that was fairly low pressure. We only did 3 cases at a time, which is much less than the average working attorney handles. And we had sort of this safety net of our supervisors so that we could really just sort of focus on learning and building skills and growing as future lawyers. That was one of the most fulfilling experiences I've ever had in my life. And it was a great opportunity to kind of experience what one kind of actual practice would be like. That was definitely one of the best parts of law school. Clinic is also the place where I became friends with some of the people I love the most at this law school. And that brings me to my second favorite part of the law school experience, which is meeting the people that I have been able to meet. I've made some incredible friends during this experience. Nothing bonds you together quite like shared trauma. A joke, but not really. The people are definitely one of my favorite parts of this experience, and they're one of the reasons that I'm saddest that, our spring quarter has been so disrupted, and the normal graduation celebrations and ceremonies and just graduation nonsense. It's the fact that it's not happening means that I will miss out on making memories with some of my favorite people. So I meant to end on a happy note by talking about the things that I enjoyed the most about law school, but ended up on a melancholy note anyway. So there you have it. I will be sending you guys updates and still making videos as best as I can. My husband and I are currently sharing a 500 square foot studio space. He is still lucky enough to have a full-time job, which means having tons of meetings and stuff. So we are still working out how to share that space when both of us have things to do. I will be taking a full course load via Zoom because that's our reality now. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, in the meantime, I will be enjoying what is left of my spring break by playing Stardew Valley, spinning on my exercise bike, going for walks, and cooking 3 elaborate meals a day. Leave me a comment below if you have any questions or comments. Share what you're doing in this time of social isolation, and stay safe and healthy and happy. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.